Hey, Bob. So I was sitting in a service. We were on vacation as a family.
And you were in church on vacation?
Actually, we always go to church on vacation. we never take a break from church.
You are so godly.
Well, the fellowship with God's people matters.
It does.
This is not the topic.
No.
We were sitting in church. So it wasn't our pastor. It wasn't anyone that we really know. We were just on vacation in a church. And in the middle of the sermon, my 15-year-old daughter leans over to me and she says, "Dad, what in the world is going on with this story?" We were about 12 minutes into a story. And
Hold on. Time out. One story in the middle of a sermon was 12 minutes long.
I think it was an illustration. And I'm using that story to actually talk about illustrations. What should a good illustration accomplish?
Yeah.
Maybe where do we go wrong? And how can we do better?
Well, we can do better by not taking 12 minutes in the middle of a sermon to tell the story.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think that that's uncommon.
Probably not. Because stories just love to expand into this. They will fill the space they're given.
And I think as preachers, we love storytelling.
Well, it can be some of the most vibrant and most compelling and easiest parts of our sermon. So it's no wonder. And we elicit response from the crowd with it too, right? A lot of times a really good story you'll see the congregation focus in.
Which energizes us as preachers.
100%. It's no wonder we do let them grow. But okay, so let's talk about what does an illustration do. For me, the purpose of an illustration is to take the theory, the concept, the ancient historical truth set within its biblical context. Well, that's exposition. That's where we're understanding what's happening in the text. But illustration serves, for me, most effectively as the bridge between that ancient concept, truth, meaning of the text to the application of how you live it out. The illustration makes concrete in a contemporary setting. And I think that's really important.
So you're bridging the gap from whatever the truth of the text is,
yes,
and maybe the ancient context, which may be hard to understand. You're bridging the gap between that biblical truth to a contemporary application.
To the contemporary application.
Why this truth matters to the congregation today.
It lets the audience see a relatable context that they can understand in a very specific and concrete way that they can connect to and go, oh, that's what this looks like here. This is Peter and early Pentecostal preachers who would use this idea of this is that.
Sure.
So that for the day of Pentecost was the prophecy of Joel.
Right, I gotcha.
That's the that.
Right.
The this was this extraordinary concrete demonstration of speaking in tongues in the middle of the as they came out of the upper room into the temple area. That's the prophecy from Joel's era was that. And so
the biblical truth.
The biblical truth. And so that's what's happening. Then it bridges because the application says, well, think of places in your life. It's going to be extended out of the one concrete example, but that one concrete example becomes the open door that they can begin to visualize how this truth, an example, Galatians is a critically important book in New Testament theology.
As opposed to the other ones? Is that what you're saying?
Who made you like this? Let me be clear. It's all canonical.
Okay.
But certainly in the Reformation and Protestant theology, Galatians is incredibly important.
Sure.
Can I say that?
You can say anything.
Thank you. The Galatians is really important, but frankly, the issues that take place in our church today do not revolve around religious practice and exercises, in particular the practice of circumcision.
Okay.
As a means by which to merit or add to or complete
Sure.
salvation. And but that is not an issue we face today.
Sure.
So we have to bridge that. Are there religious practices, exercises, or rites and rituals that are still built and viewed as a means by which to affirm, solidify, or complete our salvation?
Yeah.
100%.
Sure.
So now I exegete the text to understand what was happening in Galatia to the best of my ability. And then I think, what does that look like? And I'll be honest, in my own life, when I'm preaching, I have found as a general rule, if I can come up with a personal story,
Okay.
I think those are the most compelling
Sure.
because I tell them better. I feel them more. And the congregation, if they trust me as their pastor, can see that in me.
So what I hear you saying is that the illustrations should be connected to the sermon, right? Connected to your points.
That we have
connected
to actually
the
say
text.
that out loud is remarkable.
And I
but
think
it's true.
that's what you're saying.
It is what I'm saying.
We want to use an illustration as a bridge that's connecting the truth of the scripture passage.
Yes.
Right. And we're trying to bridge that into a relevant application. Of
it's the bridge
of
from truth to application.
Okay.
And
so is there anything off limits for you in a sermon illustration? Or maybe this is a conversation for another time. I don't know.
well, I think I can say this simply. Number one, humor's great, and I use humor all the time, but it's not humor for humor's sake. It has to be
Oh, that's a good point.
organically, deeply connected
Sure.
to what you're actually saying.
So we're not just doing a stand-up routine in the pulpit.
Shockingly enough, that's probably not what we should be doing.
I have witnessed that.
I have witnessed that as well. Now, on the other side,
Is there? So I started with an illustration of too far, too long. Is there? Do you have a rule of thumb?
Oh, goodness.
For because sometimes if it's a compelling story, it does need a bit of a build up. I felt like at 12 minutes, I felt like this story
that's too much in a
had
sermon.
become disconnected from anything that was happening.
no. Even if you think about it, even if you
And my
are
15-year-old
preaching-
daughter was beginning to shut down.
she did shut down.
Well, that's true.
And I can tell you, she'd already shut down because she was already wanting to talk about and evaluate the sermon, which tells me she's no longer listening to the sermon.
That's good. And in fairness, she's not like a critical sermon evaluator.
I don't know. I've met her. The other thing I would say that and maybe to wrap up this part of the conversation, personal, relevant stories I think are valuable.
Oh,
We
good.
cross the line when we're actually, for lack of a better word, doing public therapy on ourselves in front of the group.
Very good.
You're
That's
disclosing
very good.
too much.
Sure, too
I'm all
personal.
about vulnerability
Yeah.
and transparency, but you can go too far.
Sure.
And you can damage your credibility, you can damage the congregation, you can damage the work of God by oversharing.
This would be a good topic for another day.
Another
We
day.
need to unpack this a little bit more. So to sum up, illustrations are good. We should use them. I think we need
More
them.
than good.
The
They are
congregation needs them.
Critically necessary.
Yeah.
There must be illustrations in good preaching.
They need to be tied to the text
100%.
and help us get to application.
That would be the ideal.
That helps.